All right, guys, I am back here again in the GPURisers mining bunker, and today we are hopefully going to get these RTX 3090s put onto our frame. Now, if you guys saw the last video, this was just a troubleshooting nightmare. That's why, after dealing with stuff like that, sometimes you just gotta get a good night's sleep, come back the next day, and hope that everything goes well. So today's that day. I want to get these 3090s put onto the frame. I want to get the 3090 Asus TUF over here on our test bench, off of the test bench, put onto the frame as well. So that'll be a total of 4 RTX 3090s. Now I still need to get the 1600 watt EVGA cables all put on. We will be utilizing our 8 capacitor risers for these because they are pretty heavy duty cards. Additionally, each card will be powered by 2 8-pins dedicated from the power supply. That said, I don't know exactly how many 8-pins. I'm pretty sure actually all of these are just 2 8-pins. I know the Asus TUF is and the Gigabyte. I'm pretty sure the Zotac is as well. So we won't be needing 2 splitters for each one, but we will be utilizing 1 splitter from 1 8-pin to power an 8-pin on the 3090 and the 6-pin on the riser. Now, some 3090s do have 3 8-pins, kind of like this RTX 3080 Ti that you see right here, and that is powered by 2 dedicated 8-pins, but as you can see, the riser is powered as well over on the side there. So that has 2 8-pins coming. That is more than enough power to handle a 3080 Ti and more than enough power to handle a 3090. So that said, let me go ahead and get all these cables put onto the power supply. I'm gonna go ahead and take the risers out, get all the splitter cables ready for this, and I will get the 3090s out of the box and ready to go. So that said, let me flip this around. Absolute troubleshooting nightmare if you guys didn't see the last video, but hopefully today will be better. That said, let me go ahead and get started on this and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I went ahead and took off the 3090 on our test bench here. This was just a little thing I made to prop up the card when it's, horizontal on here. It kind of sags a little bit. So this is all off. I will be putting a 6800 XT on here and doing some testing. I am very interested in those cards at the moment. I'm looking to do something like an 8-card build with those. But for now, we have to get the cards that we have sitting and waiting up on rigs, which brings us back to our 3090 rig build that we're doing right now. So we're gonna fill up the 4 bottom slots right here with these 3090s. This was the one that we had on the test bench, the Asus TUF. We have another Asus TUF and a Gigabyte, and then a good old Zotac. So I had splitter cables out recently. I've been in the bunker too long. My brain is starting to go. I actually don't need any splitter cables with this because there's 4 8-pin to dual 8-pin that come with this power supply, and then 4 single 8-pin. That said, the 8-pin to dual 8-pin will power 1 8-pin on the graphics card and a 6-pin on the riser. And then the other single 8-pin will, of course, power the other 8-pin on the RTX 3090s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install 3 cards first and just make sure that the overclocks are set and everything is all fine, and then I'll add the 4th one. I don't want these things pulling 400 watts multiplied by 4 cards. That's going to be maxing this power supply out way past the 80% rule. So I want to make sure that the overclocks are stable, and the overclocks are also, it's more so for the wattage rather than hash rate or anything like that. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and get the 3 put on there, and we will be right back. All right, guys, we have the screen back out. For whatever reason, with this other motherboard that I had, it's just not booting. I'm not getting any kind of video, which is strange because I had issues with a power supply cord. Now I'm having issues with a possible motherboard or processor, and I'm starting to think that it might actually just be a bad processor. And the reason for that is that heatsink and that processor came directly off this BioStar TB250 BTC board that I was having issues with. So I'm starting to think that it might actually be a processor, and both of these boards are fine. So the next build I do, I'm going to try this board again, swap out the processor, and if it works, then I know that TB250 board works as well. That said, I did get 3 of these RTX 3090s put on. I didn't want to put a 4th because we don't have overclock set. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into MinerStat. I already got it flashed on there. You can see here that it's up and booted. And once I get the overclocks on, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, get this last 3090 put on, and I'll show you guys the hash rates and the temperatures and everything like that. That said, I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. We have all 4 of these running. I got MinerStat up and going right here. As you can see, we are getting 122.7 mega hash across all 4 of these. That is a total of 490 mega hash for 4 cards. Now, that is absolutely great. Of course, this has only been up and running for a couple minutes. It hasn't had a chance to thermal throttle yet. However, the rig that we have over here starts the thermal throttle almost immediately. So maybe it's just because there's Zotacs, I'm not really sure. In Windows, we were only getting about 115 on the Asus TUF. So I think having these in a larger frame with more space between it and having fans just completely blowing the hot air out really does help. Now, the interesting thing will be when we have another 4 up here, these cards will have a lot more heat trapped. Right now, they're having cold air pushed into them, they're having hot air rise, and then they're also having these 4 fans with nothing to obstruct the airflow, shoot that hot air out. So it'll be interesting to see as we add 3090s. We're not gonna get a whole bunch of them in, all at once, so as we get them, we'll just load them on the top there. We do need to add another 1600 watt power supply to the other side, but we'll have that. We will need a additional 1600 watt power supply, but I'm gonna order a couple more of those. But overall, as you guys can see, 122.75 mega hash is great. My overclock for these cards in Linux, and it's a Linux operating system, MinerStat, but the locked core is 1100, and the memory overclock is 2500. And what I'll do is I will post a screenshot right here for you guys to see the overclocks. It's really simple compared to the overclocks that are on those 6600 XTs. There really are only 2 numbers that I'm using on these. Again, that is the locked core and the memory overclock. But that said, guys, I'm gonna disconnect the monitor. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm gonna watch the thermals on this. If I come back tomorrow and I see that there's 122 still on here, I'm definitely going to switch that other 3090 rig out ASAP. So I do want to get that fixed. And I would say it's a Zotac thing, but we do have a Zotac on here. And I don't think that there's one card on that rig getting 122 mega hash. So I do think that there are some thermal issues going on. But again, that said, I'm going to cut it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope some of the problems I'm coming into might answer some questions that you have with the problems that you encounter while building rigs. But if you've ever encountered problems like this, please drop a comment down below. Let us know what crazy stuff you guys encounter. Every day, it seems like you learn more and more when it comes to the crypto mining. But again, as always, I hope everyone watching this has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.